laughing because he pinched when a Dave Chisnall starts. Chizzy got up there, there's only 2 darts waiting for him on stage. The other one was in Gary Anderson's pockets, turning into pantomime here at the Hydro in Glasgow. Gary Anderson, 3-7-2 scorelines. He lost 7-2 to Thornton last week in Belfast, beat Whitlock 7-2 in Bournemouth, and lost to Barney 7-2 in Liverpool. Chizzy lost his unbeaten record last week, losing 7-4 to Michael Van Gerwen. Could be tight, could be 10th, 7th against 8th in our Premier League table. Your commentators Nigel Pearson and Stuart Pike.
So there we have it. Peter Wright will be top of the table, but a big game to round off week 4 here. A win for Gary Anderson. He's very much back in the mix. Anderson is in tip-top form after winning a Pro Tour event at the weekend. Just missed out on a 9-darter. Dave Chisnall, one thing is for sure, he will never have experienced an atmosphere or an occasion quite like this. Partisan crowd behind Gary Anderson. Can he deliver?
Yeah, Dave Chisnall has settled in quite nicely to life in the Premier League. His debut campaign, the big venues, the big crowds haven't phased him at all. Started off with that win against Robert Thornton, of course, suffered defeat last week, but a win, a draw and a defeat for Dave Chisnall so far. It's Scotland against England here in Glasgow. Gary Anderson off to the dream start with a maximum with his first visit to the board. Beautifully done.
I caught up with him earlier. He was talking about that victory at the weekend in one of the UK Open qualifiers. He just said that he was not going to be beaten that day. He averaged over 100 for the entire day. He was just too good. Can he follow it up with what would be a crucial Premier League victory here? 42. Huge crowd staying to cheer on their hero.
Yeah, when you look at a league table as it is for both these players now, defeat, and you could say with Taylor's win tonight, you're battling to beat the drop after 9 weeks, and then the victor tonight, right back in contention for the top 4 spot. Still relatively early, of course, when it comes to talking about qualifying for the top 4, but time will run out over the next couple of weeks in particular for those under pressure at the foot of the table. Fascinating stuff, this Premier League. Gary Anderson, winner in 2011 when he beat Adrian Lewis 10-4 in that final. Anderson, one of only handful of players to have won this title. Chisnall now, lovely finish, takes the lead, holds his throw, and that is a nice tidy start from Dave Chisnall.
Well, he started with a 180 in the first leg and not a lot after that from Gary Anderson. Vocal support. Listen to this, fantastic. And that is what it's been like all night.
Yeah, amazing venue, this Hydro, isn't it? These guys on the stage are like rock stars in an auditorium like this. Anderson looking to hold his throw here to level this match with the second leg. But Chisnall, like his fellow Premier League debutant Peter Wright, has settled in quite nicely to life on the big stage. It is, we know, a daunting prospect for some. Unforgiving, it comes week after week after week. We move on to Exeter next week, and if you are out of form, if you are struggling for confidence, then it can be quite intimidating, as we've seen some players suffer down the years. Chisnall stays up the board for single 20, so Anderson now under pressure to take this double 16, no problem. One apiece. Lovely finish from Anderson. averaging 103. Chisnall at 111. Only 2 legs played so far, but high quality, as you would expect, and a fine match to round off what has been another memorable night in the Premier League.
43. Well, we head for Exeter for week 5. Anderson plays Taylor. Chisnall will take on Barneveld. 85. Should be another fantastic night. Yep. Phil Taylor back in business. Also features Adrian Lewis and Michael Van Gerwen. That'll be some night.
100. Every week you look at the fixtures and it is a mouth-watering prospect. This Premier League 2014. Fantastic lineup. So with all due respect to the lads that missed out as well, it is such a wonderful field this year. Just seems to get better and better. Only 4 men have won the Premier League since its inception in 2005. Gary Anderson is one of them.
Well, Chizzy will be back. Great start from Chisnall, averaging nearly 110. Yes, only in the 3rd leg, but clear message of intent for the man from St Helens. 112 he needs. So Anderson will get a shot at 127. 76.
Well capable of this. Treble 19 would leave the ball. So Chisnall is going to be back for double 18 to hold his throw. Double 18 the target. This time gets it. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Chisnall responds with a moment of celebration, and 2-1 he leads.
I'm not sure he knew what to do. But he is winning 2-1. Pressure on Anderson now. Only 60.
Chisnall equals it with 1 dart. This is beautiful from Dave Chisnall. He's hit 5 ton 40s in this match already. He is a model of consistency when he's on form. Lovely first start. Plenty of room for the last one as well. And Anderson, yes, won that UK Open qualifier on Saturday. He's made a good start to the year. We're just approaching March, of course, and Anderson has made a steady start to the year. 140. Laid some solid foundations for the year ahead, Gary Anderson. But 2 defeats in 3 in the Premier League. Big game for him tonight.
But the signs are good, Nigel. He's won 2 big events on the Pro Tour this year already. Won a European Tour event and that one at Wigan at the weekend. And after a couple of years in the darting doldrums by his very high standards, it's just good to see for him, obviously, but for the sport in general. Oh, look at this though, bullseye!
136. That would have hurt Anderson all right. That would have been a break of throw. Double 12 to hold. Has to get this now. Can he use that as the marker? Yes, he can. Levels it, 2 apiece. Still waiting for a break of throw between these 2 fellas. Quite a way to round off the night.
Double 12, double Scotch from the Scotland star with impressive numbers. It's been a really good night, hasn't it? Fitting at this new venue, the Hydro here in Glasgow, and the players have responded. Terrific response from Gary Anderson.
Yes, the Hydro overshadowing the SECC, where we've been previously, of course, but this is a brand new venue, opened last November. And the place rocking tonight.
140. Well, only 140. that was a stab in the dark, wasn't it? It looked like from Chizzy there. That's the perfect dart for Gary Anderson. 140 to be a beauty. Well, he'd be disappointed with that, to be honest with you.
No doubt where the support is in this game. Dave Chisnall focusing on hitting the big numbers. That's his first maximum of the match. Oh, lovely start. Treble 17 would leave double 8. Bull now for a break. Great effort by Anderson. Really was. And now Chisnall to hold throw. Take a 3-2 lead. Double 16.
That's a good dart. What impressed me about that was the aggression behind the dart. He threw that really aggressively, got his reward. Anderson, again, if you like, picked at the post just when he thought he might have a chance of breaking through. High quality game. Chisnall leads, all 5 legs, 1 on throw.
Trading blows, these two. Slack from Chizzy, but Anderson bouncing back well after that defeat to Robert Thornton last week in Belfast. And Robert Thornton, I've never seen him play as well as that before. It was a wonderful display at the Odyssey Arena last Thursday from Robert Thornton, and Gary probably felt he was unplayable. And Chisnall hits the maximum again, silences the crowd here in Glasgow. Averaging 104.5 here, and just putting Anderson under a little bit of pressure.
Well, absolutely spot on. And the pressure resulted in Anderson scoring just 57. Can Chizzy follow it up with a 140? 140. You bet. Crucial leg. Oh, that's a great dart. Go on, Gary! Brilliant dart for Gary Anderson! 10,000 people go mad at the High Road. How about that?
A fitting finish from Anderson in such a fantastic venue. The place is rocking here in Glasgow. And Gary Anderson with a wonderful 170. Look at this, room for one more. 135. But still this match has gone with throw. 3 apiece. 1 slip, 1 slack leg. 85. Could decide this. Great averages. 2 top players.
100. What a finish. Chizzy has played his part, more than played his part. Top performance this from Dave Chisnall, who has shown, you have to say, in the 4 weeks of the Premier League so far, that he very much belongs. 96. Here we go again.
Can't do it again, can he? Such a great player to watch in full flow, Gary Anderson.
80.
In a good position if Chisnall doesn't take this. What a start! Another one of those. Well, here is an opportunity for Gary Anderson to break through for the first time in this match. They go treble 20, yes he has, for double 15 for a break and throw. What a finish! Brilliant from Anderson! Is that the moment that can turn this match in his favour? If he can follow that up by holding his throw this time, 5-3, will be in a fine position.
Well, Wade Marden and I were talking during that Barneveld Van Gerwen match. When Barney's on, 85. Just a joy to watch. He makes it look so easy. Ditto Gary Anderson.
Agree totally. Free-flowing. Easy on the eye. Slack from Chisnall. Anderson in control of this leg and arguably the match. If he goes 5-3 here, he'll see the finish line within his sight.
60. Disappointed with that, only 60. You would have expected a lot more. Just that little snatch again from Chizzy, then the adjustment. Anderson, due to be a dad again in a month's time. Fantastic. Averaging 107. That's his second 180. Yeah, Anderson and his partner Rachel. 59. The baby due on the same day as the Dublin Premier League.
9 180s for Anderson in the 4 weeks of the Premier League. Chisnall has hit nearly double that. A 180 machine, Chisnall. 17 he's hit so far in the Premier League, 2 tonight, 2 apiece. And now tops for Anderson for a 5-3 cushion. No problem. Finishing quite beautifully tonight, Gary Anderson. 63% on the finish.
Tell you what, impressive all the way around, isn't it? Chisnall will still fancy this, though. To be fair to Chizzy, he lost in Belfast 7-4 to Michael van Gerwen. Didn't do a lot wrong, if memory serves me right, an average of around 100, 101. Hasn't done too much wrong in this match either, but Anderson has just been fantastic.
Yeah, and Gary Anderson's defeat to Robert Thornton last week. Robert was just unplayable. It was just one of those nights where everything Robert did was spot on. Anderson, well, just hit a brick wall, I think, last week in Belfast. Has this leg gone for Anderson, or can he put the squeeze on Chisnall?
161. Nigel was saying 2 180s apiece. 25 for the night. 137. Well, he can put some pressure on. But Chizzy looking for a 13 darter. Anderson has won 3 legs on the spin. Good job, good dart had to be. Encouraging the crowd there. He will always think he's in this game. Just one break of throw. 83.
Now only 83 for Anderson. Can Chisnall find a 140? He's hit 10 of them tonight. 41. Slacking last start though. A little bit inconsistent. We remind you that if Anderson holds his throw here, he will not be beaten tonight. 99. Do with the win though. After just a 1 in 3 matches so far, that against Whitlock 7-2.
60.
Well, he's looking resigned to his fate in this leg, Chisnall.
He threw that last one away, didn't he? Terrific. 26 and counting. 180s tonight. What a night it's been.
Including a 170 finish from Anderson. Stunning. 82 remaining. Goes up the ball for treble 20. Beautifully done. Anderson looking good to emerge from the hydro tonight, undefeated by Chisnall. But will he get the win? Gets this double 4, he's assured of a point. Finishing is superb. Anderson has been immaculate at the finish. 67% is his stat. Only missed 3. Brilliant.
Chizzy won't give up.
140.
Gary Anderson win here. Be his second. Simon Whitlock, as it stands, bottom of the table, the only man without a point, without a win.
140.
Yeah, Whitlock is looking at having to win 4 of the next 5 matches, really, if he is going to scrape through to the second part of the competition, the next phase, if you like. First phase is to emerge unscathed from the relegation scrap, and then the next phase is to challenge for the top 4. Chisnall with a third 180. No better way to silence the crowd from Chisnall's point of view than hitting the big one.
140.
So,
well, this for an 11 dart leg to stay in contention. Yeah, 11 darter that comes down to one leg of darts. Can Chizzy snatch a draw to silence this huge crowd in Glasgow? Is Anderson going to fluff his lines? We shall see.
Anderson stared at the scoreboard as he approached the hockey. Lovely ton 40 from Chisnall. Great start, and Anderson all of a sudden is finding himself in need of a ton 40 here.
Well, that's a great dart. That's a great second dart. Fabulous, fabulous dart from Gary Anderson. He didn't have much of the bed to aim at all after that first one dropped short. Exceptional class act, isn't he?
96.
Thoroughly enjoyable game to round off what has been a memorable night here at the Hydro in Glasgow. Can Gary Anderson wrap it up, or will he have to settle for a share of the spoils? Lovely ton 40, just at the right time for Anderson. Pressure on Chisnall here now, needs a big number. Gets the treble 19, another one of those are doing nicely, brilliant! Just when the pressure's on, you cannot take your eyes off this.
Well, they'll want to leave tops here. Yep, big 20.
100.
Well, Chizzy here. Can he? 132.
Tall order, isn't it? Gets one. Well, Gary Anderson now on the verge, it seems, of his second win of the Premier League campaign. Tops he needs for the match.
Got to focus. Great dart, great performance, great win to round off a terrific night. 108.22. Anderson wins a thriller against Chisnall.